Welcome, Knights of Apollo, to another glorious siege battle. Today we are playing Total War Rome 2, and this time the Greek city-states stand united, and will be taking on the mighty Roman army. Now, when the dust settles and the sun sets, the battle is over. Who will control this Greek city? Will it stay in the hands of the Greeks, or will the Romans conquer it? You will find out at the end of this battle replay. So yeah, this is actually a really intense battle, guys. Really awesome. You're going to see some great strategy, great tactics, and I'm just super excited to show this one off. So it is a 3 versus 3. The battle is already underway. So I'm going to be one of the Greek defending forces. I'm actually playing as Syracuse. Now, our strategy going into this one, if we keep it slow motion, just a little heads up, Mr. Brunswick is leading the Spartans, and he's got some citizen cav charging out to go after his archers or artillery because he left it undefended, which is already opening some shots at our Greek walls. So yeah, he's charging out, trying to do some damage. Now, the strategy going into this one, Brunswick leading the Spartans. My friend Nico, who's also got a YouTube. Both these guys have YouTube, so check them out. There's links to their channels down below. He's playing as Athens, and he's going to be defending this side of the wall. I'm going to be the support player. I'm actually going to send troops to either side of the wall, whoever needs it the most, and try to support my allies the best I can. Now, Nico, this is like his second battle ever on this game. So he's very new, but considering how new he is, he's really good. He does a fantastic job, which you'll see here in today's battle. So let's go ahead and go back over here. Now, of course, we've got 3 Roman armies. You can see the Greek cav is already charged into the Roman forces, and we'll go ahead and do normal speed. And he's just running through and slicing up these Syrian archers, trying to get them off the battlefield. And archers are always a massive, they're always a pain. When you're defending, if you take away the attacker's archers, it's like declawing a lion. You know, it takes away a lot of their support. Archers, at the end of the day in siege battles, can end up killing hundreds of soldiers. So the fact that he's going for these archers is a very smart move. Now, I also have 2 units of cav, and I want to get in on this action. Now, the great thing about being a support army is that I can really focus in on these types of tactics, being able to sally out and put pressure on the enemy. So again, let me just give you a little recap here of the Roman forces. They've got troops here. They've got some troops on the beach that they're going to try to attack this side of the wall, I assume. And then we have 1 army over here. So they're trying to keep us separated. And also, we've got siege towers already pushing up. And Nico, leading the Athenians, are preparing for their defense and trying to quickly rush his troops up to the walls. I think he's got some thorax swordsmen trying to get up to the walls and defend the walls. So let's head back over here where we're just, oh man, I charged in again, leaving their artillery undefended. I've got some mercenary Italian cavalry, which is actually a very decent cav. I hit the artillery. I'm now going to bounce off of that and go after the archers. So unfortunately, these Romans here are doing a poor job of defending their army against our forces. And then my other cav unit is also trying to get into the action. This is our mercenary companion cav. Very expensive cav. This is a very risky move because, you know, you spend so much money on this cav. You got to make sure they deliver here. You got to make sure they get some important high priority kills to get their money's worth. And so far, I definitely think we're getting our money's worth. We're breaking archers. We're even attacking the Roman general who's desperately trying to defend his forces against this unexpected cav attack. Now, in this battle, you're going to see very interesting tactics like this one. Very important tactics that are game-changing. And I think this is going to be a great learning battle, learning tactics and whatnot. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I am, fairly new to Rome too, but when it comes to siege battles, it's pretty much fundamentals. Most siege battles play out this. I've played a lot of Attila siege battles, so there is some nuance that I need to learn about factions and how to use certain units and what to expect from certain units. But overall, I know the fundamentals of a siege battle, and it's not too unfamiliar. So you're going to see some pretty important tactics that I think people need to learn if you want to be a good siege, either attacker or defender. Now, the general actually charged after our troops, and I decided to leave my cav into the fight. Now, we are a little worried here because of the swordsman. Once the swordsman charge in, it's time to get the hell out of there, which we certainly do. And we're going to try to basically leave our cav in the trees and catch other units by surprise, these other Roman units. We do have another artillery piece that actually knocked down this wall over here. So if we go to the other side, though, let's see what's happening. We do have a pretty intense wall battle. This Roman player is charging in probably a little too soon. Because of our cav charge on the other side, it's completely delayed the other Roman forces from attacking our walls. And I've said this a million times, but in a siege battle, if you're attacking, sometimes there's situations where this is not true, but most of the time when you're attacking with teammates, you do not want to go in alone. You want everybody to push their attack, and everybody push their forces to those walls and try to create as much chaos as possible for these defenders. And right now, it's pretty calm. It's pretty calm. Nico is able to defend his walls here. The Athenians are able to hold here pretty well against these Romans. And he's also, of course, got archer support. We are being very... We're conserving our ammo with the archers. We're only using a couple at a time. But look at these archers. The mercenary archers are crushing these guys and causing them, the legionaries, to break. The legionaries are tough. They're a tough unit, and the fact that they're breaking already against, I assume, a weaker unit is pretty impressive. And Nico is doing a great job of that. I call it shooting fish in a barrel, where you have the Roman infantry held up on the walls, and you're just shooting them at the flank with these archers. That's one of the dangerous things about attacking walls, is getting your men stuck up there and getting shot at. Almost like it's just like, you know, a shooting range. It's really bad. So I've got my cav now over on this side, trying to harass the Romans. The Romans did open up a breach point in the walls, so I'm going to try to get him. He was in Testudo, so I was going to try to charge him there, but it doesn't matter that he's ready for it. I'm just delaying him. I'm making this as difficult as possible for this side. Another thing I wanted to note here, which is I think a big mistake on the attacking side. Unfortunately, it's not showing the players' names when you hover over the units, but I noticed that a lot of units were divided up between the players on multiple sides. Whenever you attack or defend, you usually want your entire army on one side. That way there's less to micro. So for example, if Brunswick over here had forces, half of his forces here and the other half over here, he would be constantly going like this, and then going this way, doing commands, and then going this way. It would be way too much, and that's why it's important to have most of your forces like 100% on one side, so you can keep track of them and the micro isn't too intense. But yeah, the Romans are trying to make their way through this breach point, but they are very hesitant, and hesitation can be one of the biggest killers for attackers in siege battles. Now, I am going to note that I am going to share the chat for this game, because there is definitely some frustration from both teams here during this battle. Oh my god. You hear that? Somebody's burning. It's hilarious. Sounds like Mr. Brunswick screaming. But yeah, there is a lot of frustration between these two armies, and I actually took screenshots of the chat because I wanted to share this with you guys. Look at the move their shields. I wanted to share with you guys the frustration and just kind of explain some things, because I mean, you guys like it when there's like players getting upset and angry. You know, it's great. It's great for a show. So I will show you some chat messages later on in this battle, which I think you guys will appreciate, because they're things I've heard before many times when playing a siege battle, and you'll know what I'm talking about when I show you. But the Romans have finally pushed up their siege towers here. I don't know their strategy going into this one. I'm not sure what they're trying to plan here by blobbing up their siege towers and not spreading out their siege towers and trying to attack as many spots as possible. Instead, he's so hyper-focused on one breach point, and this is not going to work. If you just get one breach point against Spartans, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Battle of Thermopylae, but that's basically what happened, and it didn't end well for the other army. I mean, eventually they broke through, but considering the number difference, and yeah, it didn't go well. So whenever you see Spartans, you gotta get around them. You're not gonna beat them head on. They are Spartans after all. So this little tactic here, I'm not sure what he's doing. I don't know if he was like screening his men, using the siege towers as a giant shield, which is a tactic, but I don't know what's happening here, and it's kind of confusing me, and I don't understand it. He even has his backs turned to the enemy, which you never want to do. That's the weakest part of the armor. They're gonna get hit by the archers, which he actually has spearmen up here preparing for the Romans, which looks really badass. I love the Spartans, man. They look really cool. I love them in the historical armor. I know some people, like Mr. Brunswick, loves the 300 armor, the over-the-top 300 armor. Or really, it's not over the top, it's under the top, right? Because it's very little armor. Anyways, the Romans have finally decided to charge in some legionaries. But again, they're taking on Spartan hoplites. Getting through these guys is going to be brutal. It's going to be tough breaking through this defense. We have more Roman reinforcements back here ready to charge in. He also has some nice Javi, like Pila support. He's got some levies here, trying to throw down suppressing fire. And I think he's going after either my light hoplites. See, I sent over a unit to support this fight as well. So again, I'm just messing around with Cav, really, because I don't have to worry about the initial battle because I am the support player. I have all the free time to ride around and support and harass, support my allies and harass enemy troops. Now, what I'm doing here is actually trying to distract. I don't even plan on attacking. I'm trying to distract the Roman forces on the beaches to keep their eyes on this unit, because right back here, remember the initial cav units that charged out? Well, now they've been hiding in the trees, and we feel like it's a great time because look, they're leaving their artillery undefended. He's got his last unit of legionaries moving out. Now, it's really important that it looks like I'm going to charge in over here, but I actually don't. I'm just running back and forth, keeping their attention on this cav unit. And is it going to be enough? Let's see. We charge in and we crush the artillery. We do some good damage there, but the Romans are pretty quick to turn around and protect the artillery. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough to defeat the Roman artillery. At the same time, I'm hoping the Romans are trying to micro this battle over here, so I'm now sending my cav over to this front to try to run down his skirmishing units. But unfortunately, he does eventually, he notices it, and so I'm going to just ignore that and go for the archers. Oh, actually, okay. So instead of going for them, because the swordsmen are so close, I go for the archers, which actually Brunswick is going for too. Again, archers are so important. You must protect your archers in a siege battle, because if you don't, you basically, like I said, you're declawing a lion. You lose the chance of getting hundreds of kills and softening up the defenders. And now I'm going for a charge on these skirmishers over here. So we're just causing havoc, guys. Very, very aggressive. And that's one of the mistakes I see all the time for defending players, is that defending players are very passive. They think, well, they've got to come to us, so let's wait for them. Why? Why wait for them when you can be super aggressive, bring the fight to them, and get them off guard? You can take out very important key units to their army and eventually, essentially win the battle in a matter of minutes, because you just really softened up their force. You took away their artillery, you took away many of their archers, and now they've got to rely solely, pretty much, on infantry. When in a siege battle, siege battles are very strategic. They're very intense. It's like a chess game. And so let's make the analogy here that the artillery is a bishop, right? And the archers, they're like a knight. And if you take out the knight and the bishop, what are they left with? They still have the queen, right? But it's mostly pawns. It's mostly pawns, and pawns alone are not going to win the battle for you. So you've got to protect those vulnerable units in the fight. So let's go back over to Nico's battle, because this is still been going on. It's going pretty intense. I actually sent over some thorax swordsmen to support him on this wall. I've got my Syracuse troops here. Really glad that Nico is going Athens, one of my favorite factions in this game. Not really because of their units or army comp, just because I love Athens, the history of Athens and stuff. But yeah, he's doing a good job of holding back these Romans. And again, guys, I want to make it clear that this is like his second battle. Now, of course, we were giving him advice and we are like, hey, you should do that, you should do that. But still, he's never really played a Total War game except for like Total War Arena, which is not even really a true Total War game. So he's doing such a great job. But he is he's a gamer, right? Gamers rise up. So it's not so like, he's a natural. He's a smart guy. So, of course, he's going to pick up these things pretty quickly. But yeah, he breaks the Roman swords here and takes pretty much control of these walls. And that I find to be very amazing. We're about almost 10 minutes into this battle replay, and the Romans have not even taken the outer walls yet. They haven't even gotten close. Now, this is probably the closest they've gotten in getting past the outer walls. But now they've got to take on the royal Spartans. These are not just mere Spartans. These are royal Spartans. So they're going to be very difficult to take on. But the Romans, of course, is a very powerful faction. And their infantry... What? Did you see that? Did you see that? Somebody just went flying in the sky. That was bizarre. Gotta love Rome too, man. So buggy. More and more Romans pouring through the choke point. This looks awesome. So a great fight there. And again, another choke point over here that's being contested. And we just have them... We've got them beat in most of these situations. I remember, I think at the beginning of the battle... Oh, wow. Some of these Romans actually got behind here. That's something the Romans are really good at. It's more of a... Oh, did you see that? The troops are bugging out. Okay, anyways. It is a little bit of an exploit where you push your troops through... What is that? Look at that. What are you doing, sir? Hold on. You'll see it. Hold that thought. I gotta wait for this because I keep seeing it over and over. There's a Spartan that gets up in the air. There he goes, and then shoots him over here to the breach point. What the hell is going on? Guys? What is this? But anyways, the exploit is that you push your troops through the hoplite formation, which is like completely unrealistic. And then it breaks up the hoplite formation, and now the Romans are behind them somehow, which is really annoying. But it's part of the game, what can you do? Got to deal with it. But yeah, we're holding them over there. But I think one of the armies at the beginning did not bring any siege equipment, which is really gonna hurt their chances. Not hurt their, I say that, but I think you still have a solid chance of winning this battle, even if you don't have siege equipment. I just feel like the Romans are relying too much on one or two choke points. They've got to attack multiple spots on this wall. They've got to overwhelm. These walls are massive, and we don't have enough troops to defend them all. And of course, the attackers get more money than the defenders, so naturally, either one, they're going to have better quality troops, or they're going to have more troops than the defenders. So if you're just pushing as many breach points as possible, then you are going to overwhelm the defenders. It's going to be too much for them. So more and more of these forces these Romans are using brute force to try to break through these Spartans, but guys, it's not gonna work. The Spartans are too strong. This is what they excel at. Holding a close, tight position, shield wall, you're just not gonna break through it. And now the Romans are deciding to fall back. You can see some of them falling back there. They've got reserves over here. I don't know why he's not using siege towers. I don't know why. It really confuses me, but he decides not to. Spartan hoplites getting into position here. Again, just reinforcing the lines. We even have archers. Oh, fantastic spot for archers. Look at this. Look at this view. I gotta get a good screenshot of this. This is so cool. This is my favorite shots. I mean, like, how just perfect would it be to be a Spartan archer and you're looking over this fight and it's just a turkey shoot. It's just like aim in the general direction and you'll hit something. But yeah, a lot of the arrows are going towards the standard guy. Look at, they're trying to kill him. They're like, kill the man with the standard. Break their morale. But that's what he's doing. He's using fire arrows, though not very historically accurate. They do game mechanics, you know, break enemy forces. And just like that, the Romans give in. Oh, look at it. He's like, and don't come back, Roman scum. That was awesome. That final kill there on that guy. And the Romans are falling back. And we were just like, man, we totally stopped them in their tracks. And look at the victorious Spartans here standing at the breach point. When the walls go down, the Spartans will be the walls. So they're doing a great job. We're still holding over here. Romans are just doing nothing. They're using their artillery, I believe, to try to soften up our forces. I've got some archers up on the walls up here trying to... initially, I was trying to reach their artillery with my archers, but unfortunately, these aren't the greatest archers, so they couldn't reach the enemy artillery. Over here, same story, guys. The Romans... Oh, actually, you know what? They are kind of making a push. They've got... Let's see, what is this? They've got some infantry up on the wall. Eagle Cohort is a very good unit. Eagle Cohort on the walls. But the fact that he's sending these units in one at a time is not going to be very effective. I mean, it's the same kind of philosophy with like when you have teammates and you're attacking and you go in one at a time. You know, whether it's an army or a unit, going in one at a time is just not going to help you out. And he's just got to push these walls. He's got to overwhelm the enemy and take it over. But look how depleted the Romans are. The Athenians have not been pushed back at all. They have not been pushed back at all. And the artillery, I assume they were trying to get something done. Another tip, try not to use the gate. Look at the death here of the Romans that were burnt alive trying to take this gate. It did not go well for them. And now the Athenians are getting back into position because it looks like the Romans are going right back in. We got some Triarii who are... I don't blame them for running away. Because you're not going to break through this gate with pikes here. I usually always never go through the gate. The only time I really go through the gate is if it's not being defended. And I can quickly run through and surprise the enemy. Most of the time, I use siege towers. I take the walls. I rush down here. Okay, so what's a good strategy for attacking? For me, it's always about securing the walls. It's gonna be tough. You're gonna lose troops, but if you secure the walls, you quickly rush archers up on the walls and you use the walls against them. And with your archers up here, they could just slaughter troops left and right. But yeah, I've got my troops still here in reserve. My thorax swordsmen. I got a lot of troops just hanging in the town center, just waiting to be deployed, waiting to be called into action whenever they're needed. I got some reserves over here. Again, just trying to support my teammates as much as possible. So, I think we missed it, but there was one point in the battle. There's just so much going on, but there was one point in the battle where my cav was running around all around here, and the Roman general or Roman cav was chasing them for like 5 minutes. It was insane. Eventually, they do get them and break them, but it was hilarious. I felt like I was really pissing off the Romans. The fact that they would keep trying to chase my cav for 5 minutes. That just shows how much of a threat our cav was to the Roman army. So this is the moment, guys, that they get very frustrated. They get extremely frustrated, and this is when we start exchanging some not bad words, but this is when one of the players, I believe it's the player controlling this army, goes, "Sieges is so unbalanced." I think it meant sieges are so unbalanced. So at this point, he's very, very frustrated. By the way, we got some Spartans charging out, going after the artillery here. So that was, I don't know if he was trying to get a deadly shot, getting this onager really close to the forces, but Brunswick sallies out, takes care of it, and he's probably going to go back in. He's got to make sure to kill the crew, though. There they go. So yeah, that's where Braun, the player's name is Braun. He says Sieges is so unbalanced. And as soon as he said that, we're like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be things. Oh, look at that kill. There's going to be some things in siege battles that are unforgiving, that seem a little unfair, either going towards the attackers or against the attackers. And, you know, Total War in general is not perfectly balanced, so you're going to have to deal with that. But to say that siege battles are completely unbalanced, that's his way of saying, oh, you guys are only winning because the sieges are unbalanced. Not because of anything you did strategically, it's because they're unbalanced, which is just not true. Now, Brunswick he says back, the attack was unbalanced, my friend. No aggression. Too much hesitation, you know? Takes time to improve. So that was our little backsided, not even, I can't say, I was going to say backhanded compliment, but it's not really a compliment. But it's basically, I mean, it's true. So far, the Romans, and they can still win this battle, guys. Look at the balance of power. It's still possible. They just got to regroup and rethink this plan. But yeah, it's true. Their attack was unbalanced. You know, this player went in first, and he's going in again here. Nico, once again, holding the walls. He's actually thinning out a lot of the Athenians, and I'm now having to send over more of my troops. You can see more of my archers have actually moved over to help shoot at the Romans up on these walls. But yeah, their attack was very unbalanced, and they did have a lot of hesitation. A ton of hesitation around this area over here. They didn't scale all these walls. Over here, there's a ton of hesitation. Now, you know, our cav was the reason for that. A lot of the ways. That's not the right word. A lot of the ways. In a way, I guess our cav was the reason for them kind of hesitating there a bit and trying to deal with the cav first before going in. But yeah, it was true. It was a little unbalanced. And then he responds with, haha, are you joking, right? And then Brunswick says, no, sir, I am not. And at that point, I have been here so many times. Look, I think I'm known, like, my bread and butter is siege battles. That's what I'm best at. That's what I enjoy showing you guys. Here we go. The Romans are now going for another push to try to break through. And this is when he kind of uses the exploit in the game. I don't know if this is just his frustration, but watch what he does here. So he's going to push through and just run right by. You see that? Run right by. Look at that. Oh my God. Look how buggy Rome 2 is. What is going on with these units? I don't know if it's the replay. I don't remember seeing that. Look at them just sliding around. Dear God. But yeah, see how he pushes through like that? And now I'm having to commit my light hoplites to get behind that. So I'm trying to prevent him from using that exploit. But yeah. So we're dealing with this next attack here. So this has happened to me many times when I'm the defender and I'm doing a pretty good job and the attackers go, oh, this is impossible. You can't win this. It's impossible. The game's unbalanced. And what I'll do is I'll say, hey, okay, that's fine. At the end of this battle, how about we do a rematch and we'll attack and you defend. And we'll show you that attacking, it's not so unbalanced that it's impossible to win as the attacker. And that's what I say here. I said, want a rematch where we attack after this battle? A rematch after? And he doesn't respond. And eventually he does respond. He says, I want to do a land battle. Siege battles are lame. Siege battles in Rome 2 are shit, I think is what he says. I'm like, man, that is some salt. Because I think the siege battles are actually pretty decent in Rome 2. I think they're pretty fun. Not as good as Medieval 2, but certainly pretty good. The settlements are interesting. There's a lot of strategy going into these. They're certainly better than Warhammer. But I'm just kind of confused why he would join a siege battle in the first place if he doesn't like them. There we go. The Romans finally using their siege towers here to take on. Now, unfortunately, they're taking on the heroes of Sparta, excuse me. So that's going to be a tough fight. Who are these? Legionary cohort. So they're pretty good, but I don't think they're going to beat the heroes of Sparta. Also, we got arrow tower support. So I'm not trying to pick on the guy. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy or anything like that. I just want to make it clear that siege battles are not easy. Oftentimes, people think siege battles are mindless. They think there's no strategy going into them or no skill. That is so wrong in so many levels. Oh, God. My brave hoplite got gutted there. But so many times on forums and YouTube comments, they're just throwing around these troops. And look at, they're completely behind these hoplites. It's really frustrating. So we're quickly trying to rush in some more swordsmen to support this fight. But if skill was not important in siege battles, then, like, I don't even know what I was going to say there. Obviously, there's skill in siege battles because you know when you come across a good player who knows how to siege. And I think it's just players who are not used to sieging, and they automatically want to assume it's just based on, you know, lack of skill in this game mode. There's no skill in sieges. No, there's certainly skill. So what we do here, guys, we do a rematch after this battle. Not saying that we win this battle. Could be anyone's game here. Balance of power still in favor of the Romans. But we do another match where we attack and they defend. Oh, that jabby throw, the Pila throw. So yeah, I'm closing in on these Romans. I think his little exploit here is kind of backfiring because now his troops are surrounded. And the Spartans still holding true. They are thinning out for sure. But we've got plenty of reinforcements to plug up this opening. So what I'm going to do, guys, tomorrow, I'm going to upload our attack. We even attack on a more difficult settlement. It's a barbarian settlement, very close quarters, lots of choke points, very tough to maneuver troops in. So you're going to see us attack, and you're going to see how that plays out. And I will show you guys that siege battles are certainly full of skill. You need skill. There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of strategy. It's just different from field battles, pitched battles. They're a lot different. And that's why I like these a bit more, because I feel like siege battles are a bit more immersive compared to pitch battles. Pitch battles for me are too arcadey. It's all about how fast you can click. It's all about, you know, stats and what beats what. I just love to really immerse in like role play and also use some great strategy on winning siege battles. Anyways, we're holding back the Romans here. Their little exploit push does not work out. He still has a couple units in reserve, a couple troops here that he's just charging forward. If we go back over to the other side where Nico is holding, the Romans have actually made some pretty good ground here and now has his archers up on the walls. This is exactly what he needed to do like 20 minutes ago. Get your archers up on the wall and fire down at the enemy archers or enemy troops. And he's making a smart move here by moving lots of arrows coming down. That was epic. Moving a lot of infantry over to this point because it's not being defended properly. Nico is having to send over some Athenian pikemen to rush over there to defend this opening. And the Romans are going to quickly try to fight for it and take it. And look at this, another opening has been opened. This is what I'm talking about. The Romans are pushing through multiple flanks. They're just, I mean, they definitely have softened up the Athenians to where it's harder for them to defend everything. And that's why I'm now moving in my my troops, my reserves. It's finally time for my support troops to be called into action. And I've got some hoplites rushing over there right now. I also have some pikes waiting in reserve as well, and my general over here, which is the Picked Hoplites. Very badass name. I love that. Picked Hoplites. Chosen soldiers who excel much better than the random soldier, the average soldier. I slaughtered that. So yeah, very tough fight here, but you know, all things considered, Nico's doing a good job of cleaning up this mess, trying to contain the Romans. That's the key. Contain the Romans. Romans are usually fast moving. They can maneuver very quickly. That's why they beat pikes historically. You know, their battle formations, they can get around pikes. Pikes are just too slow. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to contain them. And yes, he's gotten a couple troops on into the streets. He's got his archers being protected here, firing. Let's see, what are they going for? Oh, they're going after Nico's pikes. That's a good job by the Roman player there, going for the back of these pikes. In this situation, I think Nico should have turned around the pikes, obviously, to use the big shields. But again, he's dealing with a lot of microing. He's a newer player, you know, so can't blame him there. He's doing a great job so far. So finally, I get my hoplites over there, and the Romans are trying to delay us as much as possible. They are certainly trying to delay us. And I'm just going to quickly rush in there. How dare he turn his back on me. Russian. I think he's actually trying to get over here to protect his archers because Nico has some veteran hoplites coming from the walls. But I'm charging in my troops. And now slaughtering these archers and silencing them once and for all. I've got now my pikes have moved forward. So my pikes have joined the fight, just kind of sitting here as a reserve. These Romans are falling back, these legionaries. So let's go back over to the other side. And see that the Romans are now going for another push. Again, not great timing on their part. The other Roman player has pushed in greatly over here. Look at this. He's committed everything now. We have plenty of reserves to hold him back. He's relying on one choke point. That's another thing that's a big issue here. Do not rely on one choke point. Never, never, ever, ever rely on one choke point, one breach point. Use siege towers. Open up more holes in the wall if you can. But I've got my archers using fire arrows over here. Most of them are missing because the angle is really bad. Oh, look at this. Look at this number right here. It's like they're doing a Broadway dance. It's mostly these three heroes over here firing at the Romans. So yeah, we're trying to get them to break. I'm moving my hoplites into position here. The lighting is freaking out. Good old Rome 2. Lighting is terrible in this game. And now more and more Romans pushing this way. Again, I don't know what he was trying to do with these siege towers. I assume he was trying to build a shield. It's like a little hallway to the breach point. It's really a hallway to death. Because as soon as you get through here, you got Spartans. You have this waiting for you. So it's not a good situation for them. But it looks like they're actually getting back into the towers. These towers are pretty banged up, though. He's got to be careful because if they collapse, they're going to kill the troops inside. So I don't know if he's going to try to get on the walls, which is something he should have done a long time ago. But it just wasn't... it wasn't a well-dispersed attack. And again, I'm not trying to pick on these players. I think they're great. I really appreciate them joining. It was a fun game. I'm just for learning example. I'm just showing what they did poorly, what they did well, and everything like that. So you guys can learn. And you guys can understand that there is a nuance to siege battles. There is a lot of strategy to siege battles. And there we go. The last of the Romans, man. I'm actually quite impressed. The Romans over here, they've taken a lot of damage, but yet they're still pushing. They're still pushing with such few troops for these walls. Alright, mercenary veteran hoplites. This is like a battle of elites here. Triarii against these hoplites. Fighting the good fight. Now, thankfully, there's arrow support here from the arrow towers. We are now breaking the swordsmen over here. They have officially broken the legionaries. They do not have the stomach to fight anymore. And the Athenians cheer. Actually, no, these are my troops. These are the Syracuse hoplites cheering. It'd be cool if they took their helmet off and put it on the spear and raised it up. But yeah, they're cheering as they view they don't even care about killing these Romans. They're like, just get out of here and don't you come back. Ooh, that guy died. Yeah, look at cheering as this guy died. This guy's like, help me, please. I need a drink of water, please. Please. Get a doctor. Yay! Oh, and then he disappeared. Gone. So yeah, the troops are cheering the mighty cheer, the glorious cheer, and the Romans here are done. They don't have anything. Like, it's over for them over here. And this is probably the Romans' best hope of winning, is breaking through this choke point. but the odds of them breaking through here is pretty slim to none. We have plenty of reserves. You know, to be fair, I had to send in 90% of my army. So it wasn't like I was just sitting here the whole time. You can see my army's not in the center anymore. There's a lot over here helping Nico. There's a lot over in this corner helping out as well. And I noticed that they've committed all of their forces into this this blob right here. So I was like, you know what? Hey, I got some hoplites over here. I might as well rush them up and get behind the enemy. It's another thing you don't want to do when you're attacking. Never let your flank exposed. And never let, especially in a fight like this where it's a blob fight, never get surrounded like that. So yeah, I'm rushing up my hoplites, trying to not let them have any survivors. Though, if you read The Art of War, this is not a good idea, because when soldiers don't have a way out, it gives them more inspiration, I guess, to fight to the death, because that's their only option. But if you leave a way for these soldiers to get out, they are more likely to flee for their lives and leave the fight. And of course, it's easier to break your enemy than kill your enemy completely. So I charge in the hoplites, and something weird happens. I don't know how the hell this happened, but I must have clicked on the Romans fighting way in the front line, and now my hoplites are completely out of formation, and they're getting slaughtered. And so even though it was a good tactic, it wasn't executed well. And my hoplites are now getting slaughtered by the Romans. By my Royal Spartans in position and my hoplites over here. Still putting it's a distraction, you know, at the very least. Got some Spartan archers trying to fire down here. Look at this. Hold the line. So awesome. So cool. And this is where we sally out. This is where we're like so confident. We just have archers unprotected, which I do not recommend, which you'll see why soon enough. But we're just pushing out our archers. I think, to be fair, I just told them to attack while they're on the wall, so they had the mind of their own to just keep chasing the enemy. I didn't put them on guard mode. So yeah, the general is mobilized, and I was like, all right, well, you're gonna charge your general. I'm gonna stand my ground with my archers and focus all my fire on the general, which is right here. Look at the gold here. Gold armor. Oh! Damn them. They have a lot of armor, so it's tough to kill them. Come on, fire one more time. We only really got one volley there. Great charge there from the general. Again, never leave your archers unprotected. But at this point in the battle, we were feeling pretty confident that even if we lost these archers, it's not a big deal. These archers, though, still firing. Grecian archers. Actually causing our units to break here. But that's okay. All they really have left is what? They've got a cav unit that they dismounted for some reason. Equites. Why did they dismount them? They could just trample the archers, but that's all right. I'm sending out now some pikemen to deal with that general. But the general is killed there, and he does not escape. And he's got one bodyguard. Oh, I was going to say he was going to run off to tell the story, but no, he's going to die. Dead men tell no tales, which is not good because you want, you know, the mythology behind the battle, like the mighty Greeks held against the mighty Romans. Do not attack the Greeks. It's impossible. So finally, the Romans are attacking the walls. Again, I feel like they should have done this initially. Instead of completely relying on one opening here, they should have attacked multiple points of the wall. And I think they would have been a lot more effective. Ooh, we got some archers down here, but the angle is not too great. Yeah, Brunswick trying to use that fish in a barrel tactic, but 90% of the arrows, look at them, just hitting the wall and falling. Oh my god. That's okay. He doesn't really need them. These guys are going to break anyways. Oh, man. It's like they're just practicing. Look at that. Oh, that sucks. It's really cool, though, that you can see each individual arrow. Look at that. That's awesome. And now the Romans once again trying to charge through the breach against this porcupine of death. And the Romans are getting picked apart here by Spartan archers. Our infantry not even fully fighting them. They're just sitting. There's no need. We don't fall back. We don't have to push in. You guys got to push in. But the Romans here are on their last leg, guys. I think it's safe to say that the Romans are going to get crushed. And we're going to go ahead and not fast forward because that's a buggy mess. We'll do ×2 speed. Go ahead and watch these Romans put up their final stand. You know what, guys? I'm just going to make an edit to the end of the stats here because these guys, they got no chance. They don't stand a chance here. And, I mean, I think it's clear. Look at the balance of power. It's not going to happen. And there we go. Look at this. We completely surround them now. Yeah, these guys are screwed. Over here, the battle is completely won. All the Romans have broke. And now all of our troops are headed back this way. And really what's left... you know what? Whatever. We'll just leave this in. The Romans, this is what's left. The general now charging in. I think he does like a frontal charge here. Let's follow these guys. Oh, nice. They go through the siege tower. Okay, this isn't awkward at all. They charge in right into the pikes and die. Ah, very nice, very nice. So, that's what's left of the Romans. We crush this army. The defense does not even move an inch, guys. We do not give up the outer walls. We crush the Romans. And I hope this was a great learning video. I know it wasn't super close, but the rematch, I promise you, is so much better. Now, unfortunately, 2 of the players who fought in this will not be in the rematch because they just quit out. Either I know for one rage quit because he did not want to do the rematch because he knows that he'd probably lose. It's fine. But yeah, he didn't want any part of the rematch. But tomorrow I will still show you somewhat of a rematch where we 3 attack against 3 defenders, and we show you that it's not impossible to win a battle as attackers because there is strategy to it. Ooh. This poor Greek, he was so close to just surviving the battle. Gets gutted right there. Yeah, but these soldiers, man, they're fighting for a long time. Anyways, let's fade out to the stats. Alright, guys, so here we are. You can see that we just got a lot of kills here. Just slaughtering them right at the breach point. Our army comps were pretty balanced. Archers, spears, swordsmen, all across the board here. Braun was the one who was pretty upset. He actually got the most kills for his team. Rostaman getting the lowest amount, 700, and the real Doge. The real Doge is the Dodge is the person that you'll see in the next battle. So he stays for the rematch. These other 2 leave, unfortunately. But yeah, tomorrow you'll see us attacking. We're gonna go all Romans like they did, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this epic fight, and I will see you next time on the battlefield.